Dr. S Gurumurthy, editor of Thuglak Advisor, corporate advisor, a man who is a director on the board of RBI, wears many hats. And Dr. Gurumurthy, today I have a complex question for you. How do you look at Mr. Sam Pitroda? The name आपने सुना होगा, Satyanarayan Gangaram Pitroda, who says that Indians in the East look like Chinese, Indians in the North are whites, Indians in the West look like Arabs, and down South they look like Africans. How do you respond to this divisive classification of Indians by Sam Pitroda?
See, we would not be talking about Sam Pitroda, but for the fact he has been described as the friend, philosopher and guide of the Congress party by none other than Mr. Jairam Ramesh. And he said they hold him in very high esteem and he is reputed to be their advisor since the days of Rajiv Gandhi. Otherwise, we would not be taking note of what he has said. You see, his understanding of India seems to be so limited and limited to a very short duration country called America, which has maximum of a couple of 300 years of history. But our history, our civilization dates back to the date, as Swami Vivekananda said, where history does not peep. You know, to understand India, you have to go back in history and beyond history. Brahmanda Purana describes Bharat as a nation, which has in the north Himalayas, in the south it has seas, in the west it has Yavanas, in the east it has Kiratas. And he describes the people residing in between as Bharatiyas. And he says they believe in karma and rebirth. And they are a mysterious people. You know, this kind of definition of a geography and the character of the people and their philosophy of life is unheard of in the world. So to understand India and its people and their belief systems require an in-depth study of the Indian civilization, which the person certainly lacks. If you keep India on the one side and the rest of the world on the other, you see more diversity in India than the rest of the world put together. And still we are one country, and what makes us one country is something on which a very profound understanding is needed, which this gentleman certainly lacks. That he defines India in terms of the colors that obtain in the rest of the world shows his illiteracy. I really pity him. I really pity the Congress. I really pity that he should be making this statement in the course of the most tempestuous election that is on. All that I can say is that it is not only unfortunate, it is ridiculous that we should be discussing these things when we are rising as a great civilization and as a nation and as a world power.
Well, so let me ask you, when the Congress party says that they distance themselves from Mr. Satyanarayan Gangaram Pitroda, do you think that is enough? Can they distance themselves from the views of Mr. Pitroda?
Once you have described him as a friend, philosopher and guide, unless you distance yourself from that comment, he is no more our friend, philosopher and guide. Distancing themselves from this, embarrassing remark is not doing justice to the issue. You see, Bharat is now a very different country. I have been experiencing Bharat for the last 50 years from within and without. As a corporate consultant, I had gone out of the country and faced all kinds of humiliations in the airports, in the immigration, and in the different meetings I had participated. Today, our status is different. We are on the rise. And we should be talking about more positive things about India and not reduce India into a bundle of the colors you see all over the world. And I'm so happy that the Nagaland Chief Minister said that I am an Indian. I have nothing to do with this color. And I see the sports people from the East identifying themselves as Indians. That 20 years I have played this game and I have participated in the global events. but nobody identified me by my color as a part of the yellow race. This is the real answer to Sam Pitroda. And the Congress must feel ashamed. And it must say he is no more our friend, philosopher, and guide. And I can understand him talking about inheritance tax because it's an economic issue. It may not be sociologically fitting into India. But what he has said raises a fundamental question about the Indian identity, Indian heritage, Indian civilization, the source of our pride. I think the Congress hasn't done much to merely distance itself from him. It has to disown him.
Well, let me ask you, Dr. Gurumurthy. There is a statement that was once made, India is not a nation nor a country. It is a subcontinent of nationalities. Do you remember who said this?
Yes. This also comes from only the sources in which there is so much of illiteracy about India. And I can mention the name of the person. The person is Mr. Rahul Gandhi. And it is not only from him. There is a cluster of people who speak like this. And this started with the communist movement, which said that India is not one nation. It is an agglomeration of different nationalities. And this has been going on for so long till Mahatma Gandhi intervened. The pre-independence idea of India was to integrate India.
In fact, even Muhammad Ali Jinnah said, he made this statement in 1940 as well. And is this the Jinnah mindset that the Congress keeps going back to when it says India is a union of states? Also, Dr. S. Gurumurthy, where you are in Chennai, do you think the DMK and parties of the South would actually take kindly to the statement made by Mr. Sam Pitroda calling South Indians Africans?
You see, the DMK seems to relish it for what reason, I don't know. I heard the DMK spokesperson saying that he was only speaking about the diversity of India. But you can see all colors in all parts of India. You cannot attribute white only to the north. I have seen as many white people as in the north, in the south, in the west, and in the east. And where do they integrate the idea of India as one political entity and divide it into different races? I cannot understand. But the DMK is a derivative of the British. It has a lineage sourced in the British way of looking at India as Dravidian, Aryan means north, they came from outside. These divisive ideas gave birth to the DMK, from which it has not been able to relieve itself even today. And so the DMK is confused as to how to react. But from what I saw as the DMK representatives' reaction, they seem to accept the humiliation that they look like more Africans.
Well, Dr. Gurumurthy, for Sam Pitroda, I can only say he's not new to any controversy. Serial offender is how he's being called on social media. But when he makes a statement like this, can't we actually go back to his own statement and say, "Hua to hua nahi, phir se hua," Sam Pitroda ji?
Yes, I think he's the biggest embarrassment in this election, apart from Rahul Gandhi, for the Congress.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Gurumurthy. Thank you for joining me on this day when an Indian has called Indians racist, and the racist attack clearly not going down well with any Indian, any of the 140 crore Indians living in this grand country called Bharat. Thank you very much, Dr. Gurumurthy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.